everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Tennis Files podcast. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have Marcus Willis on the podcast. Just an amazing story, as I'm sure many of you, if you're tennis fans at all, have heard about, his run at Wimbledon. And, he's a great example of somebody who has battled adversity and come back and really done great things. And I'm really excited to speak with Marcus. So, Marcus, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited to dig into your career and the things that you've been doing and continue to do. So, as the viewers know, I give kind of a more elaborate intro of all your accomplishments before we started speaking. But, I always get very interested in how people get their start in playing tennis. So I want to hear your story, Marcus, about, your first time picking up a racket and how you got into the sport.
I actually played badminton because my mum was a decent badminton player back in her day. And then my badminton coach started doing this mini tennis session on a Thursday, which I joined in. And he told my parents, look, he's good at that as well. Like, bearing in mind, I was nationally good at badminton. I had GB trials for under 15 when I was 9. So I was pretty talented at badminton. I would have never made anything just because of my size, but that's where my hand skills come from. But in the end, I had to choose between tennis and badminton because my parents, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I've got an older sister, school and stuff like that. So I had to basically pick tennis, and I didn't play badminton again until like a few years later when I played for my school. And I wasn't as good then, but still won a few matches.
Very interesting. When you talk about badminton, and you mentioned that you didn't think due to your body type that you would be as good in it. Well, I mean, what type of body type do you need to be good in badminton?
I think you need to be, short, sharp, just quicker reactions. There's a lot of good Asian badminton players, like Chinese, Indonesian. They're very, very naturally more fast twitch. It's a bigger sport there, whereas I'm tall. I'm like 6'3", so I'm not. Even if I was 1% body fat, I'd still weigh quite a lot. So I don't know. Maybe I could have been an exception, but I doubt it.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you've certainly persevered through a lot of tough things. So, but in terms of your junior career, I mean, you became ranked as high as 15 in the combined junior world rankings. But I want to step back a bit and just kind of ask you about your junior progression and kind of when it was that you were able to establish yourself in the top of the rankings and how you did that.
It's a little bit of a blur for me, but I know roughly when I was 14 years old, I was training 25 hours a week professionally. And I gradually got a bit better. Like I wasn't even best in my area. And then I became like top 2 in my area, and then I played the British Masters final under 14. So that was like a hell of a result for me then. So I was aiming for top 16 in the country under 14. And then by the time I was under 16, I played the Winter Cup for GB, me, Dan Evans, and Lewis Barnes. So I was top 3 in the country under 16, pushing on, and played Summer Cup for GB under 18. Played winter under 16. Gradually just, I think it's obvious, but the harder you train, I had a very good coach, and I just put the work in, and I gradually got better.
Yeah, for sure. What type of, overall environment was it so I guess this will benefit some juniors. Like, did you were you in an academy most of that time as a junior, or did you also do a lot of, pickup matches with really good players? How did that all shape out?
Not until I trained at a place called Bisham Abbey in Marlow. And it was me and my coach, Viktor Rubinov, who's actually married to Olga Morozova, who made the final at Wimbledon back in 1970 something, I believe. So that was my coach, Russian guy, and my training partner, Neil Porfley. It was just me and him for about 9 years. Wow. Sorry, not 9 years. I trained at Bisham for 9 years. It was me and him between the age of 12 and 17, so 5 years. was just me and Neil. So we'd play each other all the time. Obviously, we were playing tournaments around the country and stuff, but we'd do basket drills and we'd do our routine. Then an academy came in with tons of good players. There were 11 of us in the top 100 ITF juniors at the same academy. So it became, better for practice sets for sure. And more varied. And then when I was nearly 18, I got offered a contract to the LTA and I went there. But yeah, I trained at the same place for a good period of time.
Very nice, very nice. Kind of taking a step back a little bit, we've talked before this episode about English Premier League and bless you, and Liverpool and Tottenham. And so for those of you who are listening on the audio version of the podcast, I'm wearing a Tottenham Hotspurs jersey and Marcus is wearing a Liverpool scarf. But did you ever, when you were a junior, you played badminton, and I think that helped a lot, I'm sure, with your, like as you mentioned, your touch and feel. Did you play any soccer or any other sports to make yourself into an athlete as well?
I did at school. I actually ran for my cross country team for my school, so I've got a very good engine for a big guy. So I did cross country for my school. Obviously, I was doing a lot of running for physical fitness with my tennis as well. Football, soccer, I didn't stop. I didn't play past the age of 9 or 10 properly because of injuries and stuff like that. But it's something I'd love to do when I retire, is play for a team. Just a weekend team. I love playing it. I play for fitness 5-a-side with some of my friends.
Awesome.
Back before COVID times, every Wednesday night, 8 till 9.
Wow.
I love playing it. So
what position?
But no, not while I was playing tennis.
Gotcha.
Midfield, attacking midfield a lot of the time. I played a match against Leicester City Legends a few years ago, and I played right wing.
Wow.
Right wing or right mid? Right mid. So a lot of running. Like the next day was hard because it's 90 minutes, and I'm not used to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So much fun. It's lovely being part of a team as well.
Yeah, I imagine amazing for conditioning. Very cool, Marcus. And so, as we mentioned, you got to the very top of the junior rankings. At what point in your junior career did you decide and conclude that I'm ready to become a professional, or that I want to do that?
I probably dreamt about it when I was like 8 or 9. My parents used to take me to Queen's once a year on a Thursday, take a little packed lunch and watch all the players. And I sort of fell in love with Goran there. He was like my idol. Every year we'd try and watch Goran if he was still in the tournament. I got an autograph off him, and I thought I'd love to play here one day, be a pro. When it became a reality, probably 13, 14, when I started doing well nationally, I thought, okay, like I always dream big. Certainly as a kid and a junior, you have to, I think, if you want to be good. So probably from the age of 13, 14, I thought, this is something I want to do in my life.
Yeah, but
professionally.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. The thing is, a lot of people they dream big, but it seems like they don't quite connect it by putting the dreams into like an actual plan, and then putting in the hard work. So like, what allowed you, to do that? Apart from just the dreaming.
I said my Russian coach, he's very strict. I needed a bit of. I still do now. Like, I'm quite relaxed about stuff. I needed to really understand the work ethic and what it took, and I really did work hard all those years. It's just off court I messed around a bit, but once I learned that you got to put the work in on court, that was a big turning point for me.
Gotcha.
I'm just thinking back now. It brings back all the memories of training. My parents obviously paid for my coaching. That helped. Driving me around everywhere. I was getting changed on the way to school, so I'd do training in the morning, get driven to school, and then go back for training again. So my mum and dad were taxi drivers for a while. They lost out on a lot of their own lives. So without that, there's no chance I would have made it.
Yeah, definitely shout out to your parents. They're so integral. Um, you talked about like the need to train hard, and that sometimes you'll get in these phases perhaps where maybe you're relaxing, but then you realize you have to train hard again. So, I mean, what do you do? Like, I'm curious about the technique. For people who feel like I'm in this sort of rut and I feel like I'm lazy, but I know I need to actually push myself. Like, what's some advice you can give to really like jumpstart that change, to working hard?
I was very lucky. I had a coach with me on court, and if I didn't put the work in, he'd send me home. I got kicked off. Okay, I got kicked off court a couple of times, so I knew if I didn't put 100% in, I'm gone. But I would say to people, surround yourself with people who you fear a little bit, like a coach. You got to put yourself in the right environment. Otherwise it's going to be easy to just tap out whenever it gets hard. That's why people pay for personal trainers. It's why coaches are important. And for me, it was actually, I'm gonna miss out on playing points here if I don't work hard in the drills. So I was scared of that because I love playing points. So it was like an incentive, but there was consequences for me not working hard. And if I was not scared of someone, but I wouldn't mess with them. That was me as a personality. I needed someone like that working with me.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. There's books out there on like finding out your personality and then like what makes you tick and whatnot. But I know my particular personality type, I need accountability. I need somebody to, push me, because I actually, for when other people ask, for favors or for deadlines, like I, for whatever reason, like do that without a problem. But for my own internal things that I want, I actually need accountability. And, obviously, the old adage of surrounding yourself with the 5 people, or basically you're a product of the 5 people that you surround yourself the most with. So if you have a hardcore Russian coach that
I didn't know
help
5,
you
but yeah,
achieve good things.
It became my life. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd eat early, go to training, and everything I did was to make myself a better tennis player. My parents were they didn't let me get away with stuff at home. I was very grounded.
Yeah, so I'm wondering on. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
so I think that was important for me to have a normal life outside of tennis as much as you can, as well. So actually, when you go home, now you're going to do the washing up. You're going to help with the chores. You don't get home and I'm going to stretch and you need to be sucked outside of tennis for a little bit. I do. Otherwise, it just consumes you. I find.
Got it. Yeah, that's perfect that you touched upon that, because that was actually my next question, because you had mentioned that tennis consumed you, and we were all thinking about that pretty much. But then, I was going to say, could that be like too much sometimes for players if like all they think about is tennis? Because I've talked with some mental performance coaches, and they've said like, sometimes what people do is they'll attach their personal worth with tennis, so that like if they lose, like they think that they're a piece of crap or something, so that can be very detrimental. But it sounded like you were able to also have this other part of your life where tennis wasn't everything.
Kind of. I just didn't think about tennis sometimes. Like I'd do other things like homework, or I wasn't thinking about tennis when I'm told to load the dishwasher or go and put the compost out or something like that. But yeah, I was obviously a tennis pro, and that was the way I lived. But I do find certainly as I grew up, even from a young age, like as soon as I'm off court, I want to talk about soccer. I want to talk about other things. What I struggle with traveling with quite a few other tennis players is people who go to dinner and talk about tennis all the time, and strings and certain rackets and weights. And it just, for me, I love the sport, but it became too much sometimes. So that's something I struggle with, and I couldn't really switch off from it.
No, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's something that is very personal, I'd say. But your environment, environment is very, very important, and you can change that if you're lazy and you're getting away with stuff or not quite working hard, you can really look to change things. Like if you want to lose weight, I don't buy chocolate. I don't buy crisps. It's controllable. If it's there, I'll eat it. So I put myself in a different environment, and it's much easier. Not right now, but in general.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it's amazing, like, to your point, like, if you have your cell phone right in front of you, then it's very easy to, when you hear a ring, you pick it up. But if you have it in the other room, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to pick it up. So it's the environment thing. Same with the snacks and so forth. So.
Oh, yeah, I have my notifications off on WhatsApp. I just have, I check it every so often. Because, if my phone, especially with some of the group chats I'm involved in, like I'll be on my phone all day. It's bad enough. I'm on it too much anyway, but as I said, you've got to, if you want to improve anything, not just tennis, you've got to give yourself a different perspective.
100%, man. So, I mean, great advice there. Very important points. So going to your transition from your junior career to the pro career, I'm curious about how that was like for you, how it felt, the differences between, ITF juniors and the pro tour and all that.
My transition was okay. I went from obviously being a top junior. My first year on the circuit, I was like 550 ATP, which is all right. But I thought it was going to be
pretty good,
easier. I wasn't ready for the shock of staying at the Grand Hyatt on Fifth Avenue in New York, playing a slam, to going to the wrong train station in Romania and nearly missing sign-in for qualies by myself. That all happened within 6 months. I didn't know it would be quite so difficult. As I said, the junior tour, you get everything paid for. You have a traveling coach with you. You live a good life, and then, by the way, you're going to Norway by yourself. Where's the destination? I'll look on the fact sheet. Okay. And men's tennis, it's futures level. It's difficult. There's just more good players. You can't get away with playing loose games. That's it. It's not like it was such a jump up from juniors to seniors. It was you can't get away with little things. But those little things in a match in tennis is huge, right? 5% one way is the difference between winning 6-4, 6-4 or losing 6-4, 6-4. But yeah, I probably thought it would be a bit easier, and it was, because while I was still a junior, I qualified and made final. It was my first futures event with the LTA, and I didn't make another final till I was 23, 24. So I thought, it would be easy. I made a few semis, but it's a very difficult transition. But I feel like if I was going to work with a young player now, I'd have them prepared. Yeah, I'm sure. I'd have them not just playing junior tournaments, playing a few futures here or there abroad. Because in the UK, it's you're in your comfort zone pretty much. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. So I feel like I'll be good for juniors who want to learn about the transition.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, we'll talk a bit more about, but, you have a lot of experience teaching as well, teaching tennis. I'm curious, you mentioned, and the tour is like so difficult, but you mentioned that you had made that final, and then there'd been, a few years since the next one. I mean, what do you think, kind of, why do you think that was? Like, were there, I don't know, did the grind kind of get to you, or was it just an influx of more players, or what was it, do you think?
I was pretty sensitive, so I went to the LTA for a year. I lost my funding. I didn't lose my funding. I still have funding, but I lost my place at the LTA because they didn't think I was serious enough. Now, I was the second highest ranked out of the 8 people in the group, and I had the second best fitness test scores.
Wow!
But it was a case of people thinking I wasn't serious, and that peed me off, and I probably buried my head in the sand a bit. I actually worked hard at Sutton, but I thought I'd never had like a social life, really. I didn't go to my prom after party. I sacrificed a lot. And I think at the age of 22, 23, when I'm living by myself, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out a bit. I'm going to live like a normal person off the court.
Sure.
I always had talent. I always got good results from a futures level, but I was very alone. I didn't have a traveling coach. Everything I did was me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty impossible to do alone when you're 22, 20, 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
As a young man with my personality, which plenty of people have, I didn't realize the importance of surrounding myself with people who bring the best out of me. And I kept myself in the game. I wasn't awful. I wasn't out doing drugs and stuff, but like, I'd some, but all of us, like the Brits are quite famous for it. Like four of us went out to Oceania. We got the night bus after a day training, and we get back at 4 a.m. and we're up at 7 for training. And okay, we turned up and we did it, but like, you're not giving 100% then, are you?
Right.
But when you're 22 and young and carefree, it's like, I'll be fine. Got a tournament next week. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's lack of professionalism. That's my personality, and it's also being alone. I lived a pretty lonely life from 21 to 24, 25. And it wasn't until 23 years old where I found my coach who took me to Wimbledon, where actually, no, after a day of training, I couldn't think of anything worse than going out because I couldn't walk. I put the training in very, very hard. And okay, yeah, occasionally I'd have a few beers with friends or at the club. I'll have the occasional night out. It wasn't like a regular occurrence. I was working pretty hard, and that's when I got my form back and the results came back.
Yeah, Marcus, great stuff. You know, I saw a quote, I think in an ATP article, and I'll just read it and then ask you about it, obviously. But the quote is, "I was overweight. I was drinking pints. I was just a loser. I looked at myself in the mirror and thought that I'm better than this. And I've been behind the scenes working very hard, ridiculous times in the morning, ran myself into the ground, but it's worth it now." So I was wondering if you could talk about, you know, kind of in detail what you did in terms of the fitness, like what times in the morning did you work out? What types of workouts did you do? And I assume this was kind of, you know, a little bit before Wimbledon or maybe a couple years back, because I saw a picture of you in 2014 versus 2016, and to me, it was a world of difference, you know? So I was curious if you could give us some detail into the training of that period.
It was so gradual. It was more mindset. I got myself in better habits. I wasn't going out so much. So obviously the calories you consume from alcohol and food. I was playing squash with friends instead of going out to bars with friends. I was
nice,
happier in myself as well, more relaxed. Definitely mental for me. Getting yourself in good habits. And obviously I was training very, very hard with my coach. I mean, yeah. What hours was I training? Not that early, sometimes 8 a.m. in the morning, but I had to take a train for an hour and a half. So I was staying at home and getting the train into Surbiton every morning, then walk from the station to the club, then train, then do an afternoon gym session, then go back home again. So the days were very long. Like I'm up at like 5:30 and getting back at 7, 8 p.m. Sometimes later. So it was tough. I remember getting back during a training block, and my mum had made these cookies just for the house people would have, and I remember thinking, I was so tired. I was cramping in my calves, and I was like, man, this sucks. This completely sucks. But as I said, it's worth it. I pushed myself. My coach said to me, "You got to make sure that no one works harder than you today. Maybe they can match your intensity, but I can hand on heart say that I worked harder than anyone else. There's no way anyone worked harder than me those few years. No way."
Yeah, I mean that gives you.
And that's why it happened in the end. I got unlucky. I didn't. I was 300 in the world, and I didn't get wild cards into quali. So not that you deserve them, but other players will. I didn't get the luck. And when I did, I didn't play well. I was losing 6 and a third in Challenge. Like, it didn't just click. And then everything came together for that tournament in 2016.
Yeah, no.
And I feel like I deserve that.
Yeah, Certainly sounds like you did. I mean, running yourself into the ground and working so hard. There's a saying in a club nearby, which actually, Dennis Kudla and Francis Tiafoe, they train at JTCC, or at least they used to. But the slogan is "Trust your training." And so, if you're able to really train so hard that basically that nobody else is working as hard as you, then you can trust your training, and that gives you a lot of confidence to produce. And that's exactly what you did. So, natural progression to just incredible, run, amazing, that you deserved. So, kind of walk us through. Like, I know at first you had to go through Wimbledon pre-qualifying, and so I guess was there like a last minute withdrawal for that tournament that enabled you to get into that?
Yeah. So one guy who actually was going to focus on his doubles after that didn't make his flight back from Turkey in time, so he didn't bother signing in. I only found this out after, when I rang up and asked what time I was playing. I didn't expect. I was 770 in the world, and normally the cut was around 1,000. And so Richard Joyner said, "Marcus, you were last in." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah." But about an hour before, he said it's looking close, and I was like, "Oh, what?" But I never thought I wouldn't get in. And then when the stars align like that, you think, sheesh. That was lucky. So I got last in. I was actually coaching some like 6-year-olds at the local tennis club to me that day before I signed in. So I had to go down to London that night and stay at a friend's flat. And I hadn't hit a ball on grass. I just played Germany the week before on the clay. So I was playing tennis, but I was happy. I was relaxed. I stepped onto the grass. We got a 10-minute warm-up, and then I pre-qualified. Played 3 guys: Bambridge, O'Mara, and then Joe Salisbury. That's who I beat to pre-qualify. So a pretty good tennis player, especially on grass. And then I was over the moon when I pre-qualified because I thought I was done. I was looking at jobs in Philadelphia the year before. Because it's a dream of mine to move to America. I'll do it one day, but
that'd be cool.
I was going to do it then. And then obviously I was always planning on signing in because it's Wimbledon.
Sure.
And then after I beat Salisbury, I was quite emotional actually. I sat there in the chair like, whoa, I've got another Wimbledon qualies. But never in a million years was I thinking about qualifying. Like the night before qualies, I went to Coldplay with my family and Coldplay concert at Wembley. Had a few pims, just super chilled. Like wanted to win, but just happy to be there.
Yeah.
I don't believe I'm not gonna sit there and be all inspirational and go, no, I wanted to fight for every point or qualify and win Wimbledon. I wasn't thinking that.
One at a time.
I was thinking, let's see the draw, and I'll try and win that match.
Yes.
And I'll try and win the first point in that match. And the second and the third, and that's how I qualified for Wimbledon. If I had all these massive, stupid goals, there's no way I would have become. Probably, there's no chance I would have done what I did had my mindset not been focused on the now.
100%. I mean, that's where a lot of people go wrong. They're thinking about winning, like a much bigger goal sometimes. Well, they're focused on winning instead of like what you said. You're focused on like winning the next point and the next point and the next point. That's how you build up without your mind going crazy and getting nervous and whatnot. Even though nerves are natural, but I'm sure they fade away for you. A little bit after the match starts.
Yeah, good. I mean, nerves are good.
Yeah,
nerves are good, but not to the point where. For me, it's if I have expectation in myself or if people around me expect things, that's when I don't do well.
Yeah.
I just train very hard, and you're almost playing an autopilot. You've trained so many hours a certain way. You don't think too much. You go out there and play your game. That was it.
Yeah, exactly.
I trusted, as you say, I trusted my training. And things clicked. And a couple of times I played Wimbledon qualies before. I had some awful matches.
Yeah.
I made second round when I was 18 qualies, beat Amir Delic, who was made third round of Aussie that year. And the next round I played horribly against Stoppini. Then I played Wimby qualies a few years later, and I couldn't hit over a forehand. I just become someone said to me, "Oh, that's like the easiest draw you've got. The guy hates grass," and I couldn't play. I lost 3-3 because I was thinking and getting consumed by crappy little comments around me.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. That just underscores how important the mental mindset is. So it's very interesting, because you go from pre-qualifying, still great players, but then you play qualifying, you win that, and well, I'll kind of hold off on the story, but I'm curious about like the different levels, let's say between pre-qualifying and qualifying players. Like how much difference is there really in between those players' games, and like how much did you have to raise your level of play or strategies or anything like that?
Well, my first round college, I was 6-1 down in 17 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a shock, but I do think that when you play better people, you up your game. But yeah, the standard is a massive difference. I mean, the guys I beat are good players. They're all doing very well in doubles now, but they're winnable matches. That wasn't like a huge shock when I beat them. It wasn't the way they play. Like you're always going to get chances. That I don't know. It's all about time with tennis. Like the better players don't double fault at 30, or they take the ball half a step earlier. They put the ball an inch closer to baseline than someone else does. It's not like if you're watching them hit, you wouldn't go, "Oh, he's better than him." But over the course of an hour and a half tennis match, it's the little things, but you can really feel the pressure when you're playing better players.
So
and it's a big step up. It's more than junior to futures, I'd say, from pre-qualies to qualies. Huge difference. From qualies to main, if you get a seed in the main draw, it's tough, but like guys or 90 in the world obviously are much better than guys 110 in quality.
Right.
Qualifying, actually, the 3 matches I played in qualifying were tougher than my first round.
Even though Berankis was
that's
top 60.
It was 54, but I just beat Rublev and Medvedev.
Yeah. Pretty nice wins.
Pretty nice wins. Like they were better players even then. So when you beat two guys that good and you keep your level high, it was kind of a step down.
Yeah.
But I managed my nerves really well against Berankis. Like I got myself in some sticky situations. I got out of them well.
Yeah.
It was all about holding my nerve and hitting my spots and playing my way. Because I was playing that well. I sound arrogant saying it now, but this is how I was playing. I was just beating those two guys. So Berankis, yeah, winnable.
Sure.
Winnable. Nowadays, like, forget it. But right then, in that moment, you've got to accept whatever moment you're in and mentally prepare for your next match.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So you were basically, like, you mentioned how there were these little things, maybe hitting the ball a little bit deeper, the half step. So, like, I guess once you started playing those players in the qualifying rounds, then you basically kind of realized you had to do that as well. So then you just kind of automatically had that gear there because of your training, I guess, and that's how you were able to match them and even, exceed. Is that it?
Yeah. Another thing my coach said was train above match intensity. So when you come to a match, it's not too much for you. So we were taking the ball. We were doing some ridiculous tempo drills. 3 minutes on cross court, 100% intensity sprint, and then come back. We were doing some ridiculous things.
Damn.
But actually, when in a match, I was never like at the backs, like struggling for breath or running out of ideas or being blown off the court because. Sometimes I'm playing with two guys who are running me side to side and double score.
Yeah.
It was never a case like if someone was going to beat me, they'll be better at tennis than me. They'll be more skillful, or dictate a bit better, or take their chances on that day. I wasn't going to lose through lack of fitness or tempo.
Yeah, 100%. And so it's very interesting. Rublev and you said, was it Medvedev? You said.
Medvedev, I beat to qualify him for, yeah.
Yeah. So those players, I mean, especially now anyways, they hit super hard and seems like flat as well, and probably back then. But I was curious, like what was the game plan for them? Because I know, like from watching some of your matches, it seems like you have quite a dynamic game and great hands, and sometimes you'll surprise them with certain drop shots and whatnot. So what was your plan? Like what worked for you against that style of big hitter?
I was serving very well.
Uh-huh.
I was volleying very well. Excuse me. So for me, I was very simple in my head was keep holding, vary your serve, hit your spots, vary serve volleying, don't come in all the time, don't give them any patterns on my service game. And on theirs, especially Rublev, was try and get the ball in play on the serve, hang in there and see what I can do. Especially at the start, you want to keep as many balls in play as you can so you can see what patterns they're going to play. So it was very simple in my head. And as the match goes on, you read them a bit. By the end of the Rublev match, I had him serve volleying. Like he was really Medvedev different. I was 5-1 down. I actually lost the first set 6-3. But I was 5-1 down. I really had to reevaluate what was going on.
Yeah.
Like I stopped serve volleying so much. I wasn't playing in the corners. I didn't play very pretty tennis to win that one, but I had to.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. So you were down 5-1 in the first?
Down the middle. 5-1 in the first, and then I had 5-3 break point. He ended up holding, but I somehow managed to stick in that because he was just putting balls past me, angles, return winners, serving bombs.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, last round college, this sucks. Imagine getting your ass kicked last round college.
Yeah, but
and then something, and by the end, I was actually so in control. I was serving for the match at 5-2 in the fourth. Like I felt like I couldn't lose points, whereas 2 hours before I was, he was super good.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, this
not just power and tempo, but like the angles he'd come up with, his reach, his accuracy. I was blown away by the first few games there.
Awesome. Well,
but luckily he was a bit more fragile when I played him than he is now.
Still an amazing win.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I played great. Played really well because to get to the last round, he was winning like 6-2, 6-2, 6-1, 6-1.
Yeah.
He was chopping good players. So the next year, I think he beat Stan first round.
Yeah.
Or second round. So I think he was good. That was a hell of a win.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. And so, just want to talk a bit more about the win against Berankis before we go to play, playing Roger, which is amazing. With Berankis, so how did you deal with the pressure? Was the pressure like any different? I mean, it wasn't. Okay. So you were just basically one at a time.
Like I was happy and like I wanted to go and get stuck into the match in my head. Obviously, I'm quite pessimistic. I thought I was like, I want to make a match of this. I can beat him, of course I can, but I don't want to turn up at Wimbledon and lose 1-2 and 1.
Right.
Because I played him when I was 14. I lost 2-0 like in super quick time. He was a hell of a junior. So, so for me it was like I'd always, when I was about to quit and go to America, I was really upset that I never got to play men's Wimbledon. Because actually, I'll go off topic here a bit. A few years before when I was at the LTA, we lost in qualies, me and my partner, but we got in as a lucky loser. But I was told to go to Norway and play this tournament, even though I said, look, I want to rest. I want to chill out this week. They were like, no, you're going to go to Norway. And I got a call in Norway from the referee's office saying, Marcus, you got in.
Wow.
My partner was in London.
Man.
And so my heart sunk. I was like, what? I would have played men's doubles at Wimbledon, but still playing at Wimbledon, main draw,
Man.
So when I'm playing Berankis, I'm buzzing to be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
Like the happiest man in the building.
Yeah, icing on the cake, yeah.
So, well, as I had my coach there, I called him up saying, look, I qualified for Wimbledon because I wasn't playing at the time. So he was up in Huddersfield with a new job. I was like, do you want to be my coach for Wimby? He was like, hell yeah.
No, sorry.
I think he was at Wimbledon before I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he obviously prepared me for my match. and then I had a plan, and then I went and won.
Yeah. Well.
So yeah, as I said, I gave myself the best chance.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, what was that plan? Just curious.
Again, very simple with me and my serve. With him, God, you're taking me back now. There's only 2 or 3 things. I think my coach said he likes to, when he runs around his backhand, he likes to go inside out and then inside in. It's like pattern.
Interesting.
He says, yeah, he gets a bit tight sometimes on his second serve, hits the ball very flat, backhand better than forehand, blah, 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 stuff like that. But it was more about, he hit with me before my match, was the physical preparation.
Very cool.
But yeah, if you give me too many instructions, my head explodes. So
yeah, I mean, you're not alone. I think that's a big thing too. You know, as you know, with coaching as well, when you're coaching people, players, and you give them like too many things, and it's better to just focus on a couple things. So smart of your coach. So, yes, obviously we want to get into the match that you played, second round, Wimbledon 2016 against Roger Federer. I mean, what were your emotions before the match, and then how did you try to, maybe if you felt like you needed to kind of calm yourself and whatnot to get ready?
Honestly, I was in such a good headspace that all I thought was, it's pretty cool. You get to play Federer. I was excited to play on centre court, and I knew it would be a big match, but I was like, it's pretty cool. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, how am I going to win?
Nice.
I got out there. I think I won like 21, 22 points in the first set, but lost 6 love. So I just got a bit carried away on the big point, which is what Roger makes you do because he takes the ball so early. So you feel like you have to do something special. When I got down and relaxed, it was actually a pretty good match. Yeah, I mean, I was a point away from serving for the third set, I believe. Break point at 4-3 in the third. So, yeah, I was giving him a match.
Yeah, for sure.
Performance. But in my head, no, it was like, this is cool. Whereas if you think about it from the outside, if you're watching on telly or if I was watching a friend, I'd be like, whoa, this is mad.
Yeah.
But me at the time, I was okay. I was all right.
Nice.
And I'm glad I was, actually, because, you don't want to be a rabbit in headlights out there.
Yeah. No, 100%. What was the game plan of like 1 to 3 things that you wanted to do against Roger?
Well, in his first round against Guido Pella, he looked like he was struggling to get short and low to his backhand. It looked like he had a bit of a back problem. So this is war, right? So I was going to target that.
Yeah, sure.
Keep the ball low to his backhand side. But apparently he had like an injection the night before the match, and he was just stepping in and crunching.
Oh man.
So that was the plan, as well as look after my serve. But I was in a bit of pain actually in the third set of the Barrancas match. This is why I lost, by the way, guys. In the third set of the Barrancas match, I felt my ab go a little bit. So although I served 9 aces, like I was in quite a bit of pain. And then the adrenaline kicked in and I was fine. But I remember in the warm-up, I didn't hit a serve over the net. I was really struggling to get up. And I had some ibuprofen, some like heat gel on it. But yeah, it was tough. And then when you're getting serviced like that on centre court, you find a way to get going.
Yeah, definitely. So once Roger, he adjusted, well, I guess he had the shot right, and then he was hitting, these great low backhands. Then what did you end up doing kind of instead to try to win, and you made it a competitive match?
Very, very much vary the serve. Mostly, more often than not, serve volley. Because when I was staying back, what I didn't realize about him was how solid he was. People think Roger Federer, flashy, angles, through the leg tweeners. He did none of that. He kept the ball close to the baseline. He was measured. He dictated the point. He didn't go for anything too crazy at all. And I was blown away with that, actually. I had a lot more balls in the court than I thought I would. Just in, nothing special, deep, early. I was expecting, to like look one way and him hit a win or the other. But it wasn't like that. I don't think he needed to, but actually he's unbelievably solid. And when I didn't serve volley, he was very good at putting the ball deep in the middle of the court and slow, and then standing just to the right as I'm looking of the centered baseline, just creeping, looking for that forehand. So your options are either go down the line here, try to go for a winner, or if I don't get it cross court or deep enough, he's going to have me on a piece of string. And I didn't like that feeling. So when I serve volley, he's blocking. Okay, he's going to put some good returns in, but that's my best chance of winning most of the point. As soon as he's neutral in a rally, it's obviously his favourite to win the point.
Yeah.
So I just kept trying to make the first hit or even bring him to the net. I wanted to play the match as much as possible on my terms. So if Roger's coming in on his terms, no one wins. No one wins anyway, but I brought him in a couple of times when he didn't want to be brought in and had a bit of success from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever I tried, unless I needed him to have a very bad day and me to have a slightly better day.
Yeah.
And it can happen.
Sure.
But odds are it's not gonna. So there we go.
Yeah. Very.
And they shut the damn roof. So that didn't give me any more of a chance.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So, did it start raining a bit, or?
It was forecast for rain. I think it did rain.
Okay.
But when they told me that, I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. Yep, all good. But looking back, I remember the final against Murray he played when that roof shuts.
Yeah.
When the ideal scenario to play Roger is a little bit of wind flying around, the sun up there.
Right.
A few things to level it out.
Yeah, definitely.
When you put a roof over, no wind, and indoor tennis with Roger, I wouldn't back anyone to win there.
Yeah, for sure. So, it was just an amazing moment, and it was very cool that he was. It looked like he was gracious and let you have your time. I was wondering do you all exchange any particular like words, I guess, as well that you think might be interesting and you could divulge?
No, he was super friendly. Like the day before the match, and the day after, and I met him last year at Wimbledon. He was super friendly. Like, hey Marcus, how are you? Like, he's super nice guy off the court. But the minute, like when I saw him warming up before the match and on the court, he's got a switch to him, right? Like he wants to kill you.
That's what you got to do.
He wants to kill you, but with class. There you go.
Yes.
Graciously kill me, just carve me apart nicely.
I will destroy you, good sir. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the things I was most surprised about him was his solidity and how much of a warrior he was when he got to court. But yeah, what words did we say at the end? Just the normal pleasantries, I think.
Yeah.
I think I was like, yeah, well done, good luck.
Yeah.
And he was like, fantastic run, whatever. Nothing out of the usual.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate.
But yeah, lovely guy.
Good to hear that. It definitely seems like it. So it's good to get confirmation. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed hearing how you mentioned, even one of the top players in the world and of all time, he didn't do anything special in that particular match. And I guess in a lot of matches, just the deep balls and standing a bit, I guess, to the left, looking for the forehand, those basic types of things. So it's kind of something that people can carry from what he did, as well as the great things that you did. So I think what's really impressive is, you returned to Wimbledon the next year and you had some really great success too. Kind of maybe walk us through what it was like to, again, get to qualifying. I know we're touching, it's a little bit tough, some of this story, but like basically getting back to Wimbledon, playing qualifying, and, in many people's estimation, doing very well, in the qualifying and then also in doubles. So kind of walk through what it was like to return again and still put out, a great performance.
Yeah, it was good. As you said, it's a little bit bittersweet for me now,
right?
Because I made last round qualies, I lost, right? My second round qualies against Brody, it was quite late. It had been raining a bit, and I won the first set. And I remember umpire saying it's getting dark now. I'm struggling to see, and it's getting wet under. This is after I've won the set, so I'm not looking to get off for no reason. If anything, it's going to hinder my progress,
right,
or help Liam,
right.
So I've said, look, it's getting a bit damp. The ref comes on. No. Anyway, in the third set, I think I was 5-2 up. I slipped on the grass and smashed my knee. I ended up holding out for adrenaline, but I went to the physios after. The next day, I got out of bed and I couldn't push off one leg. Like it just gone. And I played Marchenko doped up. I didn't hit in the morning. I had painkillers. I could only serve. Like, obviously, a very good player. I don't think might not have won. But I was so peed off. I was sat in the chair after, and they were like, "Can you come and do press?" And I was like, "Nah." I'm not leaving. No, I was so angry. And I remember saying to my agent at the time, like, I shouldn't have played. Like, this happened. I saw it coming. I've fallen over. I've hurt my leg. This is the attitude to qualifying in tournaments. So I just want out of the way. And he was like, "Buddy, you've got to work on the doubles."
Yes.
Wimbledon's my favorite tournament. It's not Wimbledon. I love Wimbledon. I was just very bitter and very disappointed.
Right.
At the time. So I did the interview like this, through gritted teeth.
Nice smile,
yeah. And then, I had my leg taped up because I went to see someone over the weekend. They were like, "Look, it's your decision. It's Wimbledon, but it's not looking good. Like, you shouldn't really be playing." And I was like, "Well, I'm playing." So I've basically got my one leg in a cast every day. But I'm serving absolute rockets. I didn't lose my serve in the first two matches, mainly because of my partner. But
ridiculous run.
Yeah, so we're 2 sets down in the first round, got through that, bit nervy start. And then we play Heather Mahou, and we're thinking, oh dear. These guys are good. This is only the second tournament I've played with Jay. We did pretty well the week before, but like, it's a pretty scratch pairing. It ended up losing the first, and then Herbert played like one of the worst service games I've ever seen in my life. Like one missed volley and 3 doubles on the baseline.
Wow.
And then Mahou did the same. So we're 5-1 up. We've won the second set 6-1 in no time. We're settled with these guys. And then all of a sudden we just started playing unbelievable. Like we won the third in a tie break. Like they've called a double fault for Jay on their set point to go 7-5, and I've challenged it and it's in. He said hit an ace. Like we've played a great tie break, and then we're 5-4 love 40 in the fourth. And I think Jay missed a return, then I've hit a return that lands before the net twice, and then we lost the fourth set, like 7-5, like that. And we're like, oh. Gone to the toilet with Jay saying, no, we need to win this. And then luckily we played a really good game to break, and we just held.
Wow. All
the way to the end. But this is middle Saturday. My parents were a bit bummed because they missed a U2 concert, and they love U2. But they said, like, it's well worth it, man. Like,
of course.
I thought, imagine if we lost in 5 from having those 3 match points.
Yeah.
Like that would be like, and they missed U2 concert. That would be rubbish. But it was middle Saturday. All the drunk people were coming in, and it was like a Davis Cup atmosphere. There was chanting.
Cool.
Court 3, my favorite court. Like it was just bliss. Like I came off after that match, like so elated. It was like a feeling like the year before after I beat Barankis. Like it was just I felt on top of the world. It was amazing.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
But so unexpected. We ended up losing to the eventual finalists, like 3, 4, and 6. They were just better than us. But yeah, made second week of Wimbledon. Made last 16 of the double.
Yeah, pretty good, man.
And had I mouthed off in an interview, I probably wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, would have been.
So it's good. It's good to keep your mouth shut sometimes, guys.
Sure is. Yeah, I just kind of pause and think about the ramifications. Yeah. So that's amazing, though. I mean, you had that knee injury, and then I guess you just kept it kind of isolated and gradually.
It was like halfway up. It was just below my knee, like halfway up my shin. I think it's like you can see it online. My fall. I've slipped. It was wet. It was wet out there. It was.
Yeah.
I don't think we should have been playing anyway. My knee's gone the wrong way and hit the ground in the middle as I'm trying to change direction.
Yeah. Luckily, it got much better. Obviously.
I wouldn't have been able to play singles. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Wow, man.
It was painful, like really painful. But as I said, took painkillers, had treatment, and it was taped up pretty heavily. So yeah, I wasn't moving into the net as quickly as I wanted, but we were serving I formation. I was serving bombs, and on returns and doubles, you can guess a bit. You don't have to really run. So
yeah,
it might have even helped me in the end, like guess a side and swing. So
yeah, that's true. Curious about.
I should be grateful, if anything.
Yeah. I mean, things happen for a reason. It's interesting with the I formation. I'm curious to ask you this strategy question. How does the person at the net in the I formation, how do you decide which side to call you guys to move? Like, what's the thought process?
Very simple. So the guy at the net calls it.
Okay.
He'll put his finger out. He'll point in one direction. You just say yes or no.
Okay.
And then he'll show you where he's going. After that.
Yeah. But
so my job is to serve one way and move one way, and he covers the rest.
Yeah. But I'm just wondering though, like, what do you have any tips on, like, what side? Like, say you're the net player and you're like, okay, I have to pick which side. Like, what do you usually think about when you decide on the side, or is it just like totally random?
Well, as a net player, you want the volley, or you want them to give them the toughest return. So there's something called the natural body swing, the natural body shape. So if a one-hander's backhand will hit across themselves. That's the easiest shot, right? And same with the forehand. It's easy to hit across. So if you serve to someone, a right-hander on the ad side, if you serve to their body backhand, the net player will more often than not go left. Because that's the way they're naturally going to swing. They've got to hit this return, fade it down the line. If you get the serve right, that's quite a hard return to master.
Yeah.
And the net player's covering the middle as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to think, if they're swinging across their forehand, basically there are some exceptions and cut it off. But yeah, the natural body swing is across your body.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. That's really.
So if you cover that as a net player, you're going to be pretty successful. But there'll be some players that have really good down the line returns. So you've got to work it out as you go along as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very rare, especially for, a lot of the people listening, 3.5 to 4.5, a few 5.0s. So that, the natural body swing is a great concept. Really appreciate you letting me know about that. So, and I mean, just got to say it. I don't think you mentioned, but Mahut and Herbe, I forgot how to pronounce it, but they were the defending champs, right? Like they won Wimbledon the previous year, and then you beat them.
Defending champs.
Yeah, it's sick. That's really sick.
Yeah, they didn't lose much at that time.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge shock to me. Like the guy I was staying with at the time said, like there was probably more chance of me beating Federer than us beating those guys.
Wow, that's
because but I mean those guys they didn't really lose. I think they won quite a few slams, and me and Jay's second tournament, like with British wildcards, not played doubles together before. I was ranked 800 in the world doubles at that time.
And you beat the number, whatever it was, 3 and 4 or something.
I think those. Yeah. I think they were third seeds, I believe, or second seeds.
Yeah.
Second seeds, yeah. We were right at the bottom.
Wow, that's amazing. Curious, did you receive as much press as you did for the Federer, the previous year, like for the doubles run? No.
Like even in the roundup for Wimbledon, we didn't even get it was like apparently a 30-second highlight of Marcus and Jay won in doubles.
Yeah.
Like it's just not. For me, I was like, oh, okay. Like, but also to make third round Wimbledon doubles, I got more money for losing in qualifying. I got more money for losing last round quali singles and making last 16 doubles.
Is that after splitting or before?
No. So what did I get? I think we got £13,000 each for doubles, and singles I got 16K for last round.
Wow.
And I find that incredible.
Yeah.
I find it much easier to make last round qualies than third round doubles or last 16 doubles, because you got to beat a top team to make last 16.
Yeah. That's
But that's me personally. Like in qualies, I beat Andre Martin and Brody, good players, but at the time they were both late ones, early twos.
mm-hmm.
So on grass, that's achievable.
Yeah, sure.
Beating Heber Mahu, I think that's a 1 in 10, 1 in 20.
Mm.
Depends how inspired me and Jay get.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe put a bet down or something. Yeah, I mean, do you think that's possible, or it's possible to change that and like redistribute for doubles, or is that not going to happen, do you think?
I mean, it's still a pretty. You get to play at Wimbledon, you get 13K. Like,
yes,
I think you get 5K to turn up. It's not bad. It's not a bad life.
Right.
You're just never going to become a millionaire unless you're the Bryans. Like,
yeah.
But I don't think guys are playing for money. They get a nice life, and the potential to win a slam or play at the O2 or.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think guys do it for that. But yeah, I don't see the money ever changing, because I guess we're getting 13K each, me and Jay, so that's 26 grand that Wimbledon are losing or paying us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas singles are just paying one person.
Right.
So just on the nature of you've got two guys to pay,
that's right.
You're going to get less money.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
And also it's not for what I find it interesting to watch, but it's not as watched as singles most of the time, right? For whatever reason.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Like, if you ask the average tennis fan, name 10 pairs playing right now.
No, it's tough.
I don't think a lot of them would name more than 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Whereas singles players, you go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that totally.
It's just not as. Also, the courts you play on, like you don't get to Fender or Court 1 until the final or semi.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to change it, but I wish the Dubs guys did get a bit more, but.
Yeah.
When someone says to me, "Oh, there should be more prize money at futures level," yeah, I think the level should, but how? How are we going to get more money? There's no one watching. So what? You can't just magic money. You can't just magic money from nowhere and give them to people because they deserve it, right? So I don't have a helpful answer for you.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's like I don't know what else besides redistributing, money from somewhere else, other tournaments or something. But yeah,
the cut's very much at the top, but yeah, I'd like it filtered through a bit more, but and I think even the top guys are thinking that, but I think the guys that are being paid very well are making a lot of money for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas guys 600 in the world aren't making any money for tennis or the ITF tour or ATP tour. So it's the way of the world, isn't it? It's tough, but it's the way it is.
Yeah, it's like whoever's
just got to try and get up there and play the big tournaments and beat these guys.
Yeah, like whoever's.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck.
But for me, I had to do it. I had to pre-qualify, qualified, and I got my paycheck and got to play at Wimbledon. But nothing comes easy.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to break even. I had sponsors. I had a couple of sponsors that helped me out when I was young. I wouldn't have been able to play without them. So, it takes some real grafting for most players.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like it's just they pay according to how much you're bringing into the sport. So it's a tough situation.
I think so. Yeah, that's how I read it.
Yeah. So
that's how I read it.
Yeah. Marcus, you as we touched upon earlier, you've taught a lot of players. So I know we've gotten some great tips from you, but I wanted to ask you, in your experience from teaching players, what are maybe one or two of the biggest mistakes that your students have made that you have kind of focused on to help them fix their game?
Well, I think even now it's more mindset. It's people and players want to be feeling good, like rallying. They want to hit all these balls and feel great hitting cross court for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or, play points out of the hand. Let's play some points out of the hand. Whereas it never happens in tennis. You've got to make sure your serve and your first ball are good, or your serving patterns, or your return. Like when at pro level, like the point's over within four shots most of the time, right?
Right.
And people are focusing on eight and beyond. They're focusing on the 10% of points that happen in a match. They want to, get into rhythm from the back and have long rallies. Whereas, Djokovic has got a very, very good serve and very good return. He doesn't just, rally people out from the back all the time. He's very, very effective. His serve and first shot are amazing.
Yeah.
But people, because they look at highlights from a match, you'll see a 30-shot rally and you'll think, okay, that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
It's not really interesting watching aces and unreturnables and serve return winner. It's not. But that's what tennis is a lot of the time. And even now, the attitude is, you go to tournaments, you see people hitting all these. Sometimes people are not even practicing returns, or like, let's just hit a few serves over at the end. I've trained at academies and even the National Tennis Centre when I was younger, where you go like 3 or 4 days without serving. You're doing technical stuff and movement drills and playing points out of hand. Hold on, not hit any serves. So I think that's still a problem, and I was guilty of it as well. You want to feel good from the back,
right?
And that is important to feel good, because for your mental state when you're playing a tennis match, you want to feel okay. But I think far too much emphasis is going on to technique and being able to last 30 shots the same ball without breaking down.
Yeah.
Okay, it's important, but why don't we focus on the weapons more?
Yeah.
So that we don't have to do those 30 shots all the time.
Yeah, it'd be nice to avoid those. Those are painful. I mean, you've got a big engine, but for most people it's tough.
Yeah, but like a lot of players, I mean, even like I love watching Diego Schwartzman play.
Yeah.
Because he's a little guy, but he takes the ball so early.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he must be horrible to play against. He's not just running and not missing.
Yeah.
Like, he's got weapons. That's why he's good. It's not. He can, of course, he can rally all day, but he just. I don't think he particularly wants to or has to.
Yeah.
I don't think if he wasn't as aggressive, I don't think. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Just focus more on your game and making your weapons even better, rather than focusing on weaknesses. And you don't see John Isner doing cross country running hours and hitting 400 backhands cross court, right? He's gonna be practicing serves.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raonic isn't gonna. Yeah. Well, Schwartzman's not gonna start chip charging.
Right.
Make sure your strengths are even better.
Yeah. I mean,
but you've got to put some emphasis on your weaknesses. But if you do, that's my advice to players.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And Rublev isn't going to start serving volleying unless he played you and he gets pissed off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if I played him now, he might not need to.
Yeah, well, you never know. But hey, what's really funny? I went and watched some of your matches on YouTube, and I think there was a match against Ilya Marchenko, which was a tough one, obviously. But he actually commented underneath that video, and I found out that he has like a YouTube channel and he posts like drills, and he's actually he's actually hilarious. Like I don't know, I was laughing a lot. So I don't know. It's kind of
random. Fired up that day in my face. He was in my face a bit that day. He's a nice guy, but I was pissed off with him that day.
Sure, I could totally see that.
I think I was pissed off at the world that day, to be honest.
Yeah, it's stuff.
But no, it's good. It's good having personalities in tennis. I'll check him out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I'll try to talk to him about it. But yeah, and I noticed too. I think it was that match where when you're walking to the net to shake hands, you kind of gave like a little bit of a laugh to maybe your box or your a friend, just I mean. What could you expect, right? I mean, you're injured, No, not as such. I think he got super fired up, and a couple of people in the crowd started cheering when he was missing a bit, and I sort of told them not to calm down, it's not good etiquette. And after he won, he sort of went like that, in their face. And so no, it's fine. I would have done the same. Okay,
but I just found it I just found it fun. I was like, oh really?
You like this wanker?
I would have done exactly the same.
Yeah.
No, I would have done exactly the same thing if someone was chirping away at me for a while.
Sure.
I would have probably done exactly the same thing, but I just found it quite amusing. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
It was. Okay. If you would have seen what I saw, you would have found it funny. I was like, because I was thinking that's exactly what I would have done, and I'm on the other end of it now, and it's
Yeah, it's
one of those things.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I was hurt. I managed to play pretty well. I was just peed off because hey, look, he's a nightmare for me, Marchenko. I don't think I would have won, but I could have got a set. I could have maybe won.
right,
Maybe.
right.
But there was no chance I was winning that day.
Yeah, I mean,
I really, really struggled with my movement.
yeah. I mean,
It was hurting to the point of like, it made me angry.
yeah. No worries.
But no, he's a class player. Bad matchup for me. I probably would have lost, but I'd have liked to at least felt like I had a chance that day.
Sure, yeah, like you have the best opportunity, best shape, and all that. But I mean, like we talked about, amazing doubles runs, pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, actually, what is it about Wimbledon that really gets you to perform so well? Is it the grass? Like, is it the atmosphere and like, home country? Is it like everything or
home crowd, grass, traditional tournament? I've loved it since I was a child. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. It always brings out the best in me though.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome.
Like I really, you feel relaxed and at home and fired up actually.
Yeah. Well, quite the run. So, Marcus, I know you probably have stuff to do and all that, but I have a couple more questions if that's all right. Curious about just kind of moving forward, your current goals and aspirations. It looks like you're playing, a lot of doubles, and I'm seeing you on Instagram posting these stories of you traveling. So what's the current plan for you moving forward?
Yeah, it'd be good to play some more doubles tournaments whenever possible. But at the moment, we can't train in the UK, so it's just a case of trying not to put weight on too much. Trying to work out when I can, and waiting to see what happens. Really, you can't be too proactive right now. So, to be honest, I don't really know what's going to be happening.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. Are there any particular things that you're working on at this time that you want to improve in order to get to the next level and make more breakthroughs and so forth?
Just my body, keeping my shoulder, elbow, everything supple. When I go onto the court, obviously doubles, different games, singles. So more positioning stuff, quite boring things like where to stand, where to put your first volley, where you stand to serve if you're crossing or doing I formation. It's a lot of tactical stuff rather than hitting loads and loads of balls. Like in singles, you have to hit a lot of balls. You have to serve every other game. In doubles, you've just got to serve every 4 games and be in the right position. So for me, it's about making sure like my body's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, you mentioned where to put the first volley. Where do you actually want to put the first volley? Is it like deep and somewhat in the middle, or where is it usually?
No, you don't. If you go down the middle, it gives the opponent a chance to poke.
Right.
So you've got to be. Again, you don't want to get them too wide on the angle. It very much depends who you're serving to and where you're going.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But you want it central in their half of the court.
Right, that's right, yeah.
And you don't want to ever give them the same shot twice. So when they hit a forehand, you don't want to give them the same forehand. That's one of the rules.
Prevent the groove, like
because people get into rhythms and you're just dead.
Yeah.
But that's not always possible, right? So in the ideal world, you want to hit your serve and not come back, or your partner cuts off the volley. So you're just working on your strengths and being a bit more dynamic. Than anything else.
Makes sense.
Completely different ball game to singles.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any tips for players on how to develop a better serve?
Do I have any tips? It's a lot of missed serves are because of the ball placement. I find that if you throw the ball not miles into the court, but either directly above your head or a little forward, that gives you some momentum to get your body weight into the court, and you can add 5-10 miles an hour just by your ball placement and leaping into the ball.
Gotcha.
You can add more weight to your serve. But you want to be moving forwards on your serve, like as you want momentum. Like you don't see good players like hitting forehands on the way back.
Yeah, right.
So it's the same with a serve. If you want to get the most out of it, you've got to be moving into the court.
Gotcha. But with the weight,
and you get two serves.
Yeah,
you get two serves. So your first one, I don't like it when people just like get their serve in, especially a lot of club players. I just put the serve in.
right.
You can do that on your second. You've got a free serve. Go for it.
Yeah. Why not?
That's what I'd say to club players.
Yeah. Get that swing going, swing speed. With the weight, just care about the weight transfer because you obviously want to throw the ball into the court. But do you agree with this concept that it's the service kind of like a shot put where you're like loading, the back, and then I guess then you just transfer the weight forward? Is that kind of the key to the weight transfer?
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very much so with your weight transfer. Back foot and then on the front, but it's a lot quicker, obviously. It's a lot more dynamic, and there's different ways you can start a serve, right?
Yeah.
But the concept is, you're starting, and you want certainly the finish of a shot put. You're going forward.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Cool.
Or a lot of players, even some pretty decent players on the Futures Tour or national players, just throwing the ball above their head and just using their arm. There's no legs, there's no momentum going into the ball.
Yeah,
it can be improved from a lot of players. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, actually, I interviewed Nathan Pasha a couple weeks ago, and he, he's a doubles player primarily, and he mentioned that was actually one of his problems that he found that he wasn't going into the court, so he started doing that more, and it helped a lot. So that's a great tip. Great tip. So Marcus, I just want to ask you where people can follow you and see what you're up to, any social media profiles, any websites, anything like that.
Yeah, I'm at Willbomb90, WILLBOMB 90 on Instagram and Twitter. Okay. That's about it. Sorry for my content. Need some work.
I think it's quite good. I enjoy it.
I keep it lighthearted and pretty factual. So
yeah.
There we go.
For sure. No TikTok yet?
Not yet. I'll probably have it in a bit, but I'm being stubborn at the moment.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well,
I haven't really worked out what it is, but I'm sure I will.
Yeah. So final two questions for you. First, as I mentioned, we're wearing our soccer team's regalia. Any thoughts on Liverpool future outcomes for them?
I think this season we want a good Champions League run and put pressure on City. I'm not expecting too much other than City winning the league. So our focus is top four and a good Champions League run. And get our first starting 11 back firing and fit again. We've got Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, Henderson and Fabinho playing centre mid again. Just keeping people fully fit and hoping to sign Mbappe in a couple of years. We could all dream, can't we?
Yeah, oh man, that would be tough for everyone.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, I'm just hoping we get Kane back personally for Hotspurs, but
yeah, everyone would want Spurs Kane in their team.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. So him and Son, but great stuff, Marcus. So final question for you. You've given us a lot of great tips today, but I like to end most of my podcast with this question, which is, what is one key tip that you would give our audience to help them improve their tennis games?
One key tip would be make sure it's enjoyable still.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're enjoying yourself. Work hard. I mean, it depends on what level you are. For aspiring pros, make sure you're outworking everyone else. Trust your training. And for adults, listen to your coach and work on your strengths. Mm-hmm. More than you're working on your weaknesses.
Very good stuff, Will.
I would say that's how you get better or more scary to play against.
Mm-hmm. Cool, Marcus.
Someone who's okay at everything isn't as good as someone with a massive serve and a forehand.
That's true. It seems like that's the minimum requirements these days for the tour anyway. But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So Cool, Marcus. Well, hey, thanks a lot. It was really a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed going back through mostly fun memories, and we look forward to following you. And so everybody should go to Marcus's social media profiles, follow him at WillBomb90, and we'll have those links to his social media profiles in the show notes on the show notes page. So, Marcus, thanks a lot for taking the time. Really appreciate it, and wish you the best. And we'll be following you, and hopefully things will open up, and you all can kind of ball out there again on the tour. So, thanks a lot for joining us, and really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marcus.
Cheers. No worries, man.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Marcus.